NHL Night with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barrie. What's going on, everyone? I'm flying solo on this opening night of NHL. It's going to be a good one. I mean, so far we've had some decent games. Decent games if you're a Florida Panthers fan and not a Seattle Kraken fan. Seattle jumped out to a nice 2-0 lead, and they didn't do so hot. I don't know what happened there, man. I thought the ref made one bad call in the game, but Seattle ends up losing that game 3-2. They just got to get some depth scoring in that game. So far, Pearlo's early bets, Bruins money line not looking too good, and Kraken money line not looking too good. So Utah has to win 1.5 here, plus 155. Mike, I know you wrote some stuff in, but I had already tweeted out the thing. What was your early action on?
Kachuk to score a goal.
Oh, I got you, Mike. I'm sorry, I got you in there. I had the Degenerate Bostonian in the tweet. You have Kachuk and Cooley anytime goal.
Yep.
Kachuk does not have a goal, but I think he has a couple of assists in this game.
Yeah, he got a couple apples. Was it 3?
Yeah. Ray Parker joining me, a buddy of mine from my time in the military. Yes, Ray. Game is coming up here pretty soon. It'll be on as soon as this Boston game is over. It's about 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. Good to see you, Ray. Ray lives in Nome, Alaska, so he's way up there. He's probably
call this Boston game now. It's over, folks.
Dude, the Bruins look abysmal, Mike. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad we have you here.
I couldn't escape fast enough. It was I had a work dinner, and everyone knows I'm a hockey fan, and they're like, "Oh, the Bruins are on." I'm like, guys, can we please leave? Like, this is abysmal. This is depressing. Actually, I think Korpisalo played better than I thought he would. To be truthful with you,
he's played fine. I do not put this loss on Korpisalo whatsoever. If you're watching this game, I do not put this game on Joonas Korpisalo whatsoever, man. This has been very. I haven't heard Pasternak's name at all tonight, virtually at all. He's been invisible. The Bruins forwards I haven't heard much from Marchand. He's been a little bit better. Trent Frederick has been the most noticeable guy, and honestly, it's because he's trying to hit guys in the face, which isn't necessarily bad, but I mean, like, I get it. You're down, in the game, really kind of from the get, and I mean, it was 4-1 after the first. I think Korpisalo has actually played fine. Also, Ryan Callahan has been saying this. What a good move by not putting Jeremy Swayman in. If they had put him in after the second, that would have been just disastrous thinking. This is game one. By the way, Singsy, awesome to see you. Thank you so much. Salty, thanks for being here, man. If anybody gets out of line in the chat, at least in the YouTube, you can let them know. Glad we have some people on the Insta watching. That is so cool. We don't get a ton from the Insta, but we get a lot from the Twitter and this stuff. It's good to see you, man. I wished I'd have gotten to catch up with you, Singsy, at the Spit and Chicklets Cup next year. That's happening. I'm not missing it again. Handy 2 Cap says Utah 1P1.5, 1.1.5 plus 135. All right. You can type 1.5 in the chat there. Minus one. Yeah. So Pearlo got 155 early on. Yes. Singsy. So I have only made the Vegas one. I was going to one of the Buffalo ones and wasn't able to go. We got sick real bad, had to cancel. We had $700 registration. We had to cancel for the Airbnb we had for down Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. What's up? So this is it, man. This is the first game of the season. I was gonna lock in the scores here. Man, if you're the Blues, you gotta love. I mean, you got a big goal from Broberg, and you got an assist from Holloway. I don't think they're regretting that offer sheet, buddy. What are you thinking on that one?
I thought that was a good GM move. I think it was Pearlo that's saying people are going to come after him. Maybe it was someone on ESPN or whatever. I thought that was a genius GM move itself. Love the offer sheet idea.
I agree.
You can do it. I think everyone should do it. I get it. Gentlemen, be a gentleman, blah, blah. This is a business. Like, you're here to win. What was it, Herm Edwards? You play to win the game. Like,
speaking of the Jets, they fired their head coach today. I know we're a hockey show, but that was interesting. And from what I read is like, the owner just went in and got the coach and was like, "You're fired. See ya." Like, he didn't consult the GM or nothing. This is, again, why I think he is one of the worst owners in sports, Woody Johnson. Bruins just scored to make it 6-3 with about 3 minutes left. Looks like maybe Trent Frederick, which, again, Lowry has looked bad. Haven't seen Zadorov in a good light. Been not that he was terrible. I'd love to look at the advanced stats at the end of this.
Zadorov had a couple chances early on when it was only 1-0, but
yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So that's Frederick off. Bob hasn't actually looked that sharp, but he hasn't seen a ton of action. I mean, Florida 35 shots on goal. I mean, they just basically won the game in the first period. I mean, sometimes that's a bad thing, but so we have the Chicago Blackhawks and the new Utah Hockey Club coming up. I think the start time is 10:30 Eastern time. I don't know. That should start while we're here. But I wanted to get into some news. We kind of buried the lead since the last time we've met. And I know there's some people in the chat following. Darkness. Texier, Broberg, and Holloway all got an assist today. That's a good sign from the new additions. Yeah, Darkness, our Blues fan. Gotta love it. And by the way, Trent Frederick, St. Louis native like Matthew Tkachuk. So, but I will say what I did notice about the Bruins, they are big. They are a big team. Well, it looks like Florida took a power play, so Boston can get back into this with 2:57 left. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to keep you guys abreast of the thing as we give it. You need a pasta goal big time for some ducats. Okay. All right, Singsy, we'll be pulling for that then for you. If you missed our show or my tweet earlier, Rico's goal scoring prop. Oh, here we go. We got Pearlo in the house. We'll get him in here. Well, as soon as he connects. Rico had Ilya Mikheyev, and he had with our main man Singsy, he had Connor Bedard anytime goal. Yeah, I think Pearlo, you're there. Pearlo, you with us?
Nope.
Yep. Okay. Yep, he's not with us. Okay. And Singsy had a 10-shot prop for Connor Bedard. And then our good friend, the Degenerate Bostonian, Mike, who's with us right here. Warino, which I think I said Warnick last time for some reason. Sorry.
Close enough.
Warino, it's Warino. Mike. Anyway, the Degenerate Bostonian, as he will be known on this show. Just like I will be known as the Sports Beard. He had Cooley and Tkachuk. Maybe you get an empty net goal here from Tkachuk. The problem is, oh no, they scored. Did Boston just scored? So it's 6-4. I was going to say, the problem is Tkachuk doesn't play on the PK, but this is probably good news now. Tkachuk will be out on the ice for this. Boston's made it 6-4, so I'll update the scoreboard. But we've got, so anyway. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our main man Pearlo and Rico. They missed an opening night. Well, Rico said he wasn't going to make it.
Oh, it looks like Pasta put it in.
Oh, was it Pasta?
Looks like Pasta.
Oh, Dave! All right, Singsy. Singsy hits his spot. How much did you win there, Singsy? Nice, buddy. Okay, but empty net 145. Wow, if you're Florida and you get this in. Hey, my friend Jay from LA's in. Have Jay. Nice to see you, buddy. He's on the Instagram. That's awesome, Singsy. Congrats, brother. That's so drinks on you. Okay, buddy. Well, I'm just drinking some kombucha and I got some water, so that's outstanding. Yeah. Okay. So 6-4, minute 35 left in that third period there. Boston trying to make this game look respectable, even though it's been an absolute ass beating pretty much the whole game by the defending cup champs. So good on Boston. I do remember the year after the Caps won the cup, they played Boston. Boston must be on the checklist for teams, and they beat them like 7-0. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Oh, here we go. We got Pearlo. There we go, Pearlo. So Pearlo, I know you went 0 for 2 on your early bets. Well, I mean, unless Boston comes back with an early one, a late one here, which is highly unlikely. But you got to be excited about watching the Utah Hockey Club for the first time. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Boston looked horrible in this game up until this last little.
Yeah, they've been abysmal. The first period was such a dominant period. It was, honestly, guys, Florida's returning like 9 of their 11 forwards. I don't know why we thought they weren't going to be as sharp. And then, yes, Boquist is going to run their power play. Let's see how that goes. But, he got hit in the face with a puck, so we're not going to know right away. But, I liked early returns, what I saw from Florida. And I'm assuming they have a little bit more cap space to play with. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, we got a bunch of people joining us on Twitter. We got a lot of people here in the chat. Appreciate everybody coming out for. It's not the first official show of the season, but it's we got your main man got up at 5, and we got bets out because Pearlo, Rico, the Degenerate Bostonian. Our good friend Occupancy sent me a bunch of stuff too, but it was too late. Occupancy, sorry, brother. I know it's like 4 a.m. there in Sweden. So, Switzerland, where he lives now. So, so I haven't got into the news, but I wanted to talk a little bit about some news of note. Okay, we obviously haven't met since Swayman signing the 8.25 million, 66 million total, 8.25 AAV, 8-year deal. What are you thinking there? I want to start with Mike because you're the Boston guy. Yeah. That's not a bad deal. I don't understand why they didn't just do this deal from the jump like months ago, like before you trade Linus Ullmark.
Oh, I can answer that real quickly. Ownership sucks. I used to be a former season ticket holder. And he straight up told us, he sends in that massive email I assume every team sends out, every owner sends to their season ticket holders. We're going to do everything we can to continue to make the playoffs so you can flip your tickets. It's in the email I got every season. He does not care about winning. His goal is to host 3 playoff games because that covers his margin. So he's a cheap prick, and that is why it took so long. And I'm going to tell you right now, Swayman's going to be average to suck until after Thanksgiving. He's cheap. That's what it was. Neely and Sweeney had their hands tied. I also don't think Neely and Sweeney are all that great.
You think he's going to be terrible just because he missed camp? Is that
he's got to get back in the rhythm. He wasn't going to camp. He's like, this is ridiculous. He stopped going. He hasn't skated in 3 weeks.
Ryan Callahan seemed to think he would be up fine. Pearlo, where you go ahead and just give us your thoughts real quick on the Swayman deal. And
they got a sweet deal. Boston did. He's going to be a $10 million goaltender halfway through this contract. So,
yeah, I kind of think the same.
Easy. If I were him, I get it. You take the bridge, and then what happens? You get injured or something like that. At least you get your guaranteed money, and that's what he decided to do. But
yeah,
if he did a 3-year bridge at 6 or something like that, at the end of that 3 years, he would have been 10 and a half. Up to that area. But I think Boston did well. I think he seems happy. So that why it took so long. I think he was asking for 9 and holding on to it for quite a long time.
I heard 8.5 was the ask.
Yeah, no,
I heard 8.5 was the ask.
Well,
And the
it got
original
down
offer
to 8.5, but I think he started a lot higher than that.
The original offer from the Bruins was 6.4 for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was swimming, I'd say no to that.
Yeah, I mean, it made no sense. And he even said, like, yeah, okay. All right. So that's it. Okay, so speaking of goaltenders, and I'm going to try to find this on Twitter here. Kevin Weeks. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is. And I will put it up on the screen for you so everybody knows I'm not BSing. Actually, we can probably play the audio. Sorry. Oh, the lost Pearlo there. Okay. So here's the week's audio.
Breaking news, breaking news. Spongy.
Okay. I'm told the Stanley Cup commanding cap spending New York Rangers offered an $88 million 11 AAV been rejected by Shesterkin. Igor has rejected the highest goalie contract in NHL history. That's because the cap's going up too, though. I feel like that's kind of misleading. Like, yeah, okay, Bob makes 10, Carey Price makes 10. We know. But and somebody said it to me. Vegas Golden Knights get Shesterkin after this season, especially if they don't win the cup. I like that Shesterkin has a lot of and the cap. Yeah, at least 11.1 mil is going to be a lot. Yeah, I think the ask was 12. Darkness from the sources that I've heard, and I mean we'll see. Like it's going to be interesting. I'll go back to the wide shot since Pearlo's kind of off center there. But anyway, that was intriguing to me. But my wife was like, everybody knows my wife's a Rangers fan. If you're new to the thing, my wife was like, well, guess we got to win the cup this year. And I feel like that's the case for the Rangers anyway. They've got some guys. I think Panarin's getting close to the end of the contract and stuff like that. So, okay. So the Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau tribute will be the first Jackets home game. I believe that's next week. They're going to do a tribute. That's pretty cool. Not cool for the reasons they're doing it, but cool that they're doing one. Probably going to be an emotional. Obviously, every team in the league is wearing the Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau 13 and 24 or 21. I think whatever was it 24? I'm sorry if I can't think of what Matthew's number was. But it's on, if you could look, it's on the back of every NHL player's helmet, so you'll be able to see it. This just happened, boys. The NCAA did their ruling, and I retweeted it. You could check my Twitter feed, but Braxton Whitehead will be the first guy. Mike has already talked about it, who's playing in the CHL right now, will be playing for the Arizona State Sun Devils next season, I guess. So now we will see Canadian League hockey players being able to come to the NCAA. This is a good thing for college hockey in the U.S., and I think we're going to see a big increase in D1 hockey because it's going to allow, like, how many kids are playing juniors? Now, remember, too, man, American kids go play juniors in Canada, too. Russian kids go play. Their kids from all over the world play juniors in those things. Now they'll have the option to go to other schools other than Canadian colleges because Canadian colleges are fine with them going there and playing or whatever. They get a scholarship, I believe.
Yep.
Canadian kids do. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to be great, man. Like, I feel like this is going to be a win-win across the board for everybody involved in hockey. And more importantly, the players. Let's say you play juniors and you get drafted and then you go play college. You'll be able to burn out your time. And then if you're a good enough player, you can sign with any NHL team you want. I love this for the players. I think this is going to work out great for them. Now, good guys who are good enough to play in the NHL right away at 18 or 19, which is very few and far between. As we said, 2 kids from this year's draft are playing in the NHL this year. Macklin Celebrini and Jet Luchenko. Like, that is it. I mean, so like it's a very rare thing. We've gotten spoiled because of the McDavids and Bedards and Crosbys and Ovechkins, these guys that come over, and as soon as they play, they're generational talents. So I think it's awesome. Super excited for the Utah Hockey Club. One thing I saw, and as the owner is speaking on the thing, one thing I saw that was really, really great from the owner, Ryan Smith, and he had talked about this before on Pat McAfee, is they have 70,000. He owns the Utah Jazz. They have 70,000 kids in the area playing youth level basketball. They're trying to get the same numbers for hockey. That's how you grow the sport in a town, in a community. This is going to be great. And let's not forget, Arizona had a very good youth hockey program. Look, the Maple Leafs have 2 products of that, and Matthew Nysen and Austin Matthews on their team. Those kids are not bad players, okay? So there's still going to be quality coming out of Arizona. Just because the NHL team is gone doesn't mean the youth hockey programs die. In fact, I've heard the youth Coyotes stuff. There's some people taking over there now that they've gotten rid of Alex Morello. So I want to get Arizona sports guy on here at one point in time. Shout out Matthew, get him on here and say, hey, what's the status quo there? How's it going? Are you noticing? Is this good? I mean, and Mike talked about we firmly think that there's a good chance Arizona State could be in the Frozen Four, which I'm hoping for, Mike. Like, I think that'll be such a good thing. Because if we can get California to put their teams in D1, like USC, UCLA, these are expensive, good schools with amazing weather that kids want to go to. So, like, it will be unbelievable if we can get those teams to get things. So,
as far as the Shesterkin situation, I think if they've got 11, they'll pound it out. They'll get it.
Yeah, I think Pearlo, it's just a matter of they're not going to have the cap space, my brother. We can look at it at the end of the show here. But
if they were willing to go 11, they'll go 11.5 or something like that. So,
well, but I mean, what if he wants 14? I mean, let's just be realistic
I don't
here.
think he's getting that anywhere.
Yeah, like, can anyone give him 14? That's a lot.
Nobody's going to give him 14.
Well, somebody's going to pay him in free agency more than he would have got from the Rangers. I'm willing to say that right now, and I think anybody
might give him 12, but who?
But look, Seattle gave quite a bit of money to Chandler Stevenson and Montour, and I don't think those guys would have got what they got on the open market. No, so that's what you got to do with free agents. And I'll tell you what, man, now teams are locking up their young talent for long periods of time on these deals. So we'll see. Worked out for St. Louis tonight because Kyrou was definitely the difference in the game. And by the way, so just to say, I'll go over the Kraken game real quick for everybody because I watched that game entirety. The Kraken looked unbelievable the first 2 periods.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Jamie Alexiak is awful. I'm not sure he belongs on the ice anymore. He got caught flat-footed twice. Both goals were scored, and that was the end of it. I mean, then they came back and got that 3rd goal. And then Seattle just doesn't have the skill up front yet. Now, let's see how Beniers looked really sharp. He had some chances. The thing I noticed from Seattle late in the game, too, is they got to be careful about the unforced errors. I saw Eberle get the puck and just kind of sauce it to the middle. No one's there. It's just an unforced error. It's like you can't have those things and be successful. I guarantee if you guys want detailed breakdown, the Emerald City Hockey guys who've been on our show, RJ and Dylan, who were both at the game, I thought it was a neat concept for the matinee. Another weird thing, and we're getting this, is Ray Ferraro called that game as the analyst. And he also is at the Utah game. They put him in a PJ and flew him to Utah. And I didn't get that. I didn't understand. Like, just, bring Colby Cohen or somebody on to do this, or Emily Kaplan. Doesn't matter. I mean, I guess she's a reporter and does interviews, but you can't bring another color guy on. I mean, like, How cheap are we, ESPN? Like,
Are
apparently not cheap
sure
enough.
Are you sure maybe they had somebody, but then they got ill or something?
No, man. They made a big production out of it. They had a thing about how Ray was good. They had a cartoon graphic, and everything, man. So you will get to see all this, Pearlo, once you live in the U.S. proper, my friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no Rico tonight, Andrew. He couldn't make it. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I know. Bummer. Rico's had some stuff going on, so he just let me know. And I appreciate anytime you guys can't make it. Mike will only usually be with us Tuesdays and obviously Fridays for the college hockey show. But most of the time you'll just get me and Pearlo. But it's great to have Mike, especially since the Bruins played tonight, because I really wanted, and we talked a lot about that game early. Again, to me, Florida, we're into the Utah game, which we're going to spend some time watching, but I won't spend the whole entire night with you guys because we're going to be on tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So I was really, really, really impressed with Florida. They looked like the Cup champs. They didn't hold on to the lead there at the end. But again, the Bruins are supposed to be a good team. I think everybody expects them to make the playoffs. We're all happy Singsy got his goal scoring prop. So right now what's left is we got Utah -1.5 plus 155 for Pearlo. Our friend in the chat, I'm sorry, handy cap to cap had Utah -1.5 plus 142. So he didn't get as good odds as you did, Pearlo. But and then Rico had Ilya Mikheyev goal scoring prop plus 155. So Mikheyev is playing for the Chicago Blackhawks now. So we should see what happens. But also Rico and our good friend Singsy had Connor Bedard 80-time goal, and he has Singsy had a 10-shot prop on Connor Bedard. So let's see how that shapes up. So anyway, and Andrew's giving us baseball updates. So thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, so that's
Clayton Keller to score a goal too. Right, Clayton Keller.
Oh, did you have Keller to score a goal? I don't think I did all your goal scoring props there. Mike had Logan Cooley and Matthew Tkachuk, which you didn't. Did you parlay those together, Mike? Or
No, I was a responsible-ish gambler this evening, and I got really excited with 9 seconds left because Tkachuk had a banger at an empty net and faded it to the right, just like the Buffalo Bills did. So.
Yeah, so Utah's just underway. It's looked pretty back and forth so far. I haven't had a real chance to watch it. We'll do that as soon as we end the show. I'll just go watch it because we're not doing play-by-play or anything tonight for the remainder of the game. I thought about it, but it's too long, guys. My voice is... Oh, did we get a goal there?
Dylan Gunther.
Oh, Dylan Gunther. So the first goal in Utah. Oh, what a nice shot, too, there, right off the rush.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, there you go. Dylan Gunther puts the Utah Hockey Club up 1-0 against the Chicago Blackhawks. I expect the Utah Hockey Club to be a good team, and I think they are going to be in the playoff mix for a large part of the season. So
I think they're going to make the playoffs.
That's outstanding. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's awesome.
I think they're going to beat out LA. I think they're going to beat out LA and St. Louis. And make the playoffs.
Well, the Blues didn't look. I mean, the
Seattle.
Blues.
I don't think Seattle's making it either.
So. Seattle's a Pacific team, so we'll worry about the Pacific. But I actually thought the Blues looked absolutely atrocious the first half of that game, 2 periods of that game. But they still have their speed and they've got some skill, and they found their game. And look, they've got Jordan Binnington. He kept them in that game, no question. Mind that game could have been 4-0 Seattle in the first easy. Should have been 4-0 Seattle, but it was because if it was a lesser goalie, I'll say this right now. If Seattle was playing the Edmonton Oilers and that was Skinner in net, they would have scored 3 or 4 goals. That's how dominant I thought they played. They just were speed and they checked and they had the puck in their zone the whole time. I was really impressed with their start, but they didn't finish good. So, yeah. So, yeah. And we've got the Devils are 2-0. Singsy was in here, so we've got some guys. We've got some guys. I could talk through the first period here of the game, and you guys we can talk about some other topics. I know we missed you, Pearlo. You didn't get a chance to give your. I
can give you some of those if you want.
I kind of don't because we did that show already, my man. So just tweet them out or whatever. But we didn't get a chance to talk your heart, Selke Norris, all that stuff. Who you have but you can go ahead and let us know who you have in the Cup Finals and Eastern Conference Finals.
That's tough this year. I'm going back to Florida again. I thought about it a long time. I know it's hard to go to the finals 3 times, but
Tampa just did it.
Yeah, I think Florida, Dallas. There's my final. Florida, Dallas. I don't think the Edmonton Oilers. Everybody's on the Edmonton Oilers. I saw
of the Sportsnet people, like 3 didn't pick Edmonton, and one was Kipper. He picked the Florida. So, I'll see if I can.
I don't think Edmonton's going to be as good as everybody thinks they are this year. I don't.
Well, they're going to miss Holloway and Broberg. I'm going to say that right now. I don't care what anybody says because Holloway and Broberg made instant impacts for the St. Louis Blues. So,
Broberg was ready he was ready to be a top 4, and they could have got him for the cheap if they would have just. Yeah, and then Skinner.
I think if they would have paid
goaltender, Jeff Skinner is ass. I'm sorry, he is. I know he's got a great shot and everything, but he can't do anything.
Well, they already have him on the 3rd line. And then, hey, we didn't even talk about this. I missed this. I wanted to ask you guys, Savoy, or was it Lavoie? I'm sorry, I get Savoy Lavoie.
Lavoie, yeah.
Raphael Lavoie gets put on waivers, and Vegas picks him up. And you got a 6'4" guy that can skate that you now just put on Vegas, who didn't need any more size and speed. He's not
really the best skater, but he's average, but he's big, and they just got rid of all their young players. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, Pearlo, that's what I want to ask you. Okay, so if you guys don't know, and we didn't really get to do a formal introduction because Pearlo was a little bit late to the show. No worries, Pearlo. Don't ever have to apologize. Appreciate you being here. Pearlo lives in Edmonton. He's from Edmonton, basically. He's lived there a majority of his life. Okay, yeah, I found the graphic I was looking for from Sportsnet, so we'll pop this on. Pearlo, Edmonton now has 0 prospects that Ken Holland drafted. Bourgault is gone. They lost Savoy to the waivers, and they lost Broberg and Holloway to the RFA claims. So they don't have a single player in their system. And I got to say, Edmonton needs to win it this year too, like the Rangers, because they don't have anybody coming up.
No.
And I don't know. Why not keep some of these young guys? Why re-sign Corey Perry? To me, that made 0 sense. Obviously, you want the veteran voice in there? You have Henrique. That's all you need. You have Ekholm. Ekholm's already played in 2 Stanley Cup Finals. I don't get it. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with
Edmonton has done a really piss poor job with asset management. Okay, here you go, boys. This is what the Sportsnet guys say. Elliott, Friedman, Ron McLean, David Amber all have the Oilers. Kip Rios has the Panthers. Justin Boring, Luke Gazdick, Ian McIntyre, Eric Francis, Mark Spector, Luke Fox, Mike Fuda, Alex Adams, Jason Bukala, Sam Constantino, Jacob Stoller, Sonny Sachdeva, and Rory Bolin all have the Oilers. The only 2 people that don't have the Oilers besides Kipper is Eric Ingles and Ryan Dixon, and they say the Dallas Stars, which Pearlo had. I have to say this. The Vegas very rarely gets these odds right with these Stanley Cup favorites. The Edmonton Oilers are favored big time. I think they're plus 500 or something. The next one is like plus 800 and then the plus 1,000.
Yeah.
Plus 1,000. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do they get it wrong? Do they get it wrong here? I always feel like we kind of have an idea of who's going to win. Like, I didn't have Edmonton in the finals last year. I thought they weren't ready, and I was proven correct. They did not win. Now they were down 3-0. They should have probably got swept, but they battled back and forced a game 7, and they ended up losing anyway. I mean, again, I don't think it matters because, Florida was beaten in 5 games, and they come back and they win the cup. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just wonder, they have older players. Those guys, typically, it's hard to stay healthy a whole season. What are we talking about here? Is it unrealistic to think that the Oilers get back? I personally think they win the cup. I picked them to win the cup. I'm sticking with it. I just feel like it's.
What do you think, Jen?
My problem, Pearlo, is on the Western side, everybody got less. Everybody, like Seattle improved and Nashville improved, but those teams weren't cup contending teams anyway. So that I just don't think they're going to factor into it. Now, maybe Seattle steals a game from Edmonton or something in the regular season because they have more talent once they find it. I do like Bilesman. I think he did a good job. Like, there definitely wasn't a problem with coaching. It's just they needed to put the puck in the net. And again, I think the final shots were 35-25 or something in favor of the Kraken. The Kraken could have easily won that game. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with that. But
what do you think, Degen? Who did you pick?
So I did take the Predators to win. But if I had to take a second team coming out of the West, I was going to go Dallas. My cup final, it makes me feel better that one of the ESPN guys took New Jersey because I had New Jersey coming out of the East.
Yeah.
So that does make me feel better. I thought they were a real long shot, and I was kind of crazy. But I don't think it's realistic Edmonton gets back. I think they are the 2018 Blues. They had a wonderful season last year. They just couldn't get it done. And I don't think they make it back. I think the playoffs, sure. But the Oilers. Definitely think the playoffs, but I don't think.
Well, the 2019 Blues, you mean, because they won the actual Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the ones that beat the Bruins. Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, I think they're going to be like them. They had a great run. The Blues got it done, and the Oilers didn't. I don't see them getting back to the Cup. I think that was the peak. I don't love their back end. I don't love what's between the pipes. I mean, obviously, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hopkins. We all know that.
Here's why I'll say this, and I have to say this to you guys, and I want your opinions back. The thing that scares me about Dallas in a good way is they draft and develop and they keep their youth. So everybody's saying, well, we don't know, but I just feel like they will have somebody in their farm system or prospect that comes in and makes a difference. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like I have less concerns. And they got rid of Ryan Suter. They got rid of I think he was a problem for them, honestly. And I've heard rumors, maybe not even a great locker room guy.
No, he's never been known to be a good locker room guy, even Minnesota too.
Yeah, I mean,
about it in Minnesota,
they bought him out like with 4 years left or 5. He's the only player in NHL history to be being paid by 3 teams. And by the way, they're all in the Central Division. But I also think it speaks to the shortage of quality defensemen that are in the NHL. So, I think if you look at what Edmonton has in their farm system, and if anything falters, if they don't have anything, like if they lose what they've lost in any straight, if McDavid goes down, if Draisaitl gets hurt, if any of those guys are out for any extended period of time, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is no spring chicken, man. That guy he played with Ryan Whitney. He's been on that team for like 14 years now. Like, he still looks like a 12-year-old boy in the face, but like, I'm just saying, like, I picked the Oilers, but I picked the Oilers because I don't think Vancouver's I'm worried about Demko. Yes, Dallas lost Tanev. And then what is Colorado? Now, if Colorado gets Nichushkin and Landeskog and they could commit, Colorado could be a monster. And I don't know that they get by Colorado. If you look at Colorado's defense, much better than what Edmonton has. And look, too, Ekholm, no spring chicken. Everybody's like, oh, you're the best defensive pair with Ekholm and blah, 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 Evan Bouchard. Okay, but Ekholm is not young. Ekholm is not young. So, what did we miss here? It looks like 9 minutes left to go in the.
I think people are going to be surprised about how good Sheloffs is. I think Sheloffs is a beast. I think Demko should be shaking in his boots right now. Seriously, because I think Sheloffs is going to be almost as good as Demko, if not as good.
Well, I mean, Pearlo, it sounds like Demko has like a legit like injury thing. It's I know
it's a legit injury thing, but I mean, when he gets back, I think Sheloffs is going to really make it.
Hey, look, I'll just say this right now, Pearlo. Sheloffs was not the reason they lost in the playoffs. He played unbelievably well.
He played great.
And you think about it, Pettersson was hurt. They lost Besser. Like that could have went either way. Now I just wonder who steps in for Zadorov. Now they do bring in Jake DeBrusk. I like DeBrusk. DeBrusk also for the Bruins usually showed up in the playoffs, right?
Like only in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean he was not good in the regular season, so I don't expect him to be great. He's just streaky, very streaky player. He just always leaves you wanting more, for sure.
He's a fantastic two-way guy, though. He's an awesome defensive player, though, DeBrusk. So
yeah.
I like Vancouver. I think Vancouver could win that division.
Yeah, I mean they won it last year, but I'm just saying, like you feel like LA's a little weaker. They lost Roy to free agency. Now they did bring in Warren Fogle, who I actually thought Warren Fogle was very good for Edmonton, scored some timely goals. I think Edmonton's going to miss him more than – I mean, to me, I would rather have Fogle than Corey Perry. Again, like, and I it is what it is. So, it's going to be interesting. What's up, Subhuman? Subhuman Gaucho. We haven't
seen him Subhuman in a while.
What's up, brother? Welcome back. We're back. Everybody's back. Hockey's back, baby. We got the sports ticker rolling. We got people watching us on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever, and we got a nice number here in the YouTube too, man. So appreciate everybody. Yeah, we actually have 13 people on X watching us, so appreciate that, guys. That is outstanding. And we're actually doing better on X with numbers than we are on any other platform, which is pretty cool, man. So I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody coming out and supporting the show.
Cheers to you. Vancouver's college picks. I'm like drooling over them.
Yeah, they've drafted well too. See, that's the other thing. They've managed their assets. This is why I worry about. Look, I understand McDavid's the best player in the world. When's the last time you saw a single player? Look, I always said this. You could make the argument that Alex Ovechkin was one of the most dominant players forever. He couldn't get anywhere in the playoffs because he had nobody playing with him. And Sidney Crosby had Hart Trophy winner Evgeny Malkin on his team, who also played center. So, like, you need that two-headed monster. And I get it. They have Leon. They have McDavid. That's good. But, we also forget, early in Crosby's career, they had Sergei Gonchar. They've had Chris Letang for all these runs. You've had these Hall of Fame players, and then you've augmented it with good draft picks. Jake Gensel was a college draft guy, right? You got to bring in guys that make a difference. And this is the salary cap era. So I would be nervous if I was an Edmonton fan, but I'm sticking with the pick to win the cup. I think I also told my wife, though, I feel like the Rangers, this is their window too, man. They got to win it this year. Especially if they lose Shesterkin, man, they ain't making shit without him in net because they don't play good enough defensive hockey to, like, he bails them out a lot. And I know, Pearlo, that was your argument with the Boston Bruins. You said they would not be making the playoffs if they didn't keep Swayman. So,
yeah, absolutely. Look at Korpisalo today. I mean, Boston did play well in front of them. Don't get me wrong, but another post. Jeez.
Yeah, but Utah's look pretty all over the place right now, huh?
Yeah, they're all over.
Was that a goal, or was that the post that the crowd is cheering for?
Hit the post. It's the second post.
The crowd is cheering. Hey, good to see you, Subhuman. All right, Andrew, it's good to see you. We're actually going to call it a night here too, so we can finish watching the games. Mike has got to get some rest. He's on the East Coast. Appreciate you. Just let's go through final thoughts. We just got the season underway. We'll be back tomorrow. Pearlo, what you got?
Geez, you threw it on me. I don't know what is my final thought. Go ahead, DJ. Let me think about it for a second. I didn't know we were ending.
Swayman will not be the normal Swayman we know until after Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's your opinion.
I, for some reason, like Colorado, despite being short-staffed, on the road, I had Vegas tomorrow. Don't know why, can't tell you, but I am a degenerate, so go Avalanche.
Yeah, just on that note, I listened to the Chicklets interview today. I finally got it in with all the stuff going in today. I had to play it at like 2x speed. Chicklets, please, let's not do these things where you got 3-hour podcasts anymore. It's too long, man. Listening to Nathan McKinnon talk about Middlestat made me interested to see, man, and I'm going to be excited to see it. I'm excited to see what he provides to them because they desperately need that second. They've been trying to find that second line center since Godry's gone. Now,
they shouldn't have traded Newhook, but that's besides the point.
They shouldn't have traded what?
Shouldn't have let Newhook walk away.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what he turns into. I haven't seen much from him since he's been in Montreal, but
Newhook asked for a trade, though. That was his thing.
Oh, and it looks like Utah scored again, and that would be
Keller,
the captain, Clayton Keller.
There's my goal score prop, plus 200.
You hit your goal scoring prop, Pearlo. Awesome. Which I didn't tweet that out, I don't believe. So I just did your picks because it was a lot. I know occupancy had some stuff too. Well, boys, let's call it a night. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Yeah, hold on. Let me give you what. He had the Seattle Kraken to beat the Blues. I mean, dude.
Yeah, and they should have. But
yeah, they should have. Yep,
it was
absolutely.
the right pick, but it didn't happen. And I also had, but I did. The Boston pick was horrible. I freaking had Chicago.
Well, but you know, Pearlo, I get it because you feel like, oh, they lost OEL, they lost Montour, they're not going to be good as defensively. They brought in guys like Boquist, who basically was a waiver pickup. So was Forsling. I mean, Florida finds them. Got to give Bill Zito a lot of credit there, man. And that's how we'll end that one. I appreciate everybody coming out. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy, everybody.